Well, today is the day that we expect the announcement of Brendan Rodgers back at Celtic, and one one person that, if you remember, just a couple of weeks ago, he was talking about that he was hoping that Michael Beale would go toe to toe with Ange Postecoglou. He's now saying that he should be delighted that Brendan Rodgers is coming back so that he can go toe to toe with Brendan Rodgers, even though he didn't go toe to toe with Ange Postecoglou last season. Kyogo's agent, this is the big breaking news this morning, Kyogo's agent isn't expecting an exodus of Japanese players. And also in this morning's news, we talk about the man that is the one and only Rod Stewart, who's been talking about it's like taking back a cheating wife with Brendan Rodgers coming back to Celtic. So let's get the funny story out of the way first. Brendan Rodgers' return to Celtic should delight Rangers' Michael Beale so he can go toe-to-toe with him, says Barry Ferguson, the former Ibrox captain. Says his belief that Ange's exit will challenge the Gers next season. Oh, Jesus, he's at it again. Mr. Meltdown Ferguson that just opens his gub and talks about everything Celtic. I'm sure they've had a lot of transfers this season. Why is he on the paper talking about them? Anyway, you have to beat the best, says Ferguson. Rodgers does the best Celtic could appoint after replacing Ange Postecoglou. Look, I said a couple of weeks ago that he was disappointed that Postecoglou left for Spurs. I wanted him to stay at Celtic and was looking forward to see how much Michael Beale carried the fight to him next season. I had no doubt that Rangers would go toe to toe. Oh, jeez, they're at it again. We'll leave it at that. Today is all about us. The big news this morning is that Kyogo's agent and translator is not expecting an exodus of Japanese players from Celtic. He says a change of management always creates some uncertainty when players switch continent, and it's always natural when there's speculation that they'll look to move on and follow the departed manager, or simply just to get a significant change in the setup. No player is more associated with Ange Postecoglou than Kyogo, the scorer of 5 cup final goals. I don't think the transfer window isn't officially opened yet. It doesn't open in England for another couple of days. I don't think there'll be this mass exodus that people are fearing. It's just a feeling I've got. You could maybe say that I'm wrong, but I think these players, they are the way that they are. They'll not run to go out the door. The translator went on to say, he says, I don't think a new manager will struggle with the situation. These players have been in Scotland for some time now. They know how things work. They understand the club. Japanese players are very dedicated and professional. And whoever the manager is, be it Brendan Rodgers or whoever, I'm sure they will do their best for the club. I really don't think there'll be any struggle for them. You know, I think it's going to be okay. Kyogo, Ryo Hatate, Daisen Maeda were obviously on international duty. Kyogo scored the goal. And of course there's going to be interest, and I think that maybe one or two of them might move on. There's going to be other players that are going to move on. We spoke about that in yesterday's video. But as it stands just now, there has been no official contact for any of our players. There's been talk about maybes, but we can't live on that. We've got to actually go what we've got until the season starts, and basically until the transfer window closes shut at the end of August. The return of Brendan, says Rod Stewart. He's described it as taking back a cheating wife. The madman is Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart has given his unfiltered reaction to Brendan Rodgers returning to his beloved Celtic as second stint as manager. The rock icon, it says, has likened Brendan Rodgers' return to Celtic as taking back a cheating wife. Nobody takes back a cheating wife. Anyway, the Celtic mad 78-year-old slammed Roger. He says, he ruined my holiday years ago when he first decided to leave. And it's good that you can actually go to Dubai during the mid-season. That's all I need to say about that. He went on to say, for me it's like taking back your wife that's left and gone off with someone else and then comes back to you with her tail between her legs. That's how I feel. Forgive and forget, he's the right guy for the job. He loves attacking football, and Ange has left him a wonderfully attacking side. Rod Stewart went on to say, when Rodgers first left the back of a treble winning campaign, he says, I wasn't able to enjoy my summer getaway to Dubai. It ruined my holiday. I actually got a bit choked up, I must admit, back in 2019. Obviously it was going to go one day, but to go sooner rather than later, I thought we would have seen it the next 2.5 months to get the treble. I think we all thought that at the time as well. But it is what it is, and the fact that Tottenham, it's widely reported now that Tottenham had to pay £5 million to get our departed boss at all places as in good stead going forward. So the big announcement is expected later on this afternoon. It's just a case of what happens, and there's been a lot of things getting leaked about. I mean, there's a lot of things that people are talking about. There's no use going on about them until we get the actual here and now. At this point, I think we'll have a look at some of the comments. I've not read the comments for a couple of days, so we'll have a look at the comments and see what people are saying on the channel. So one of the first comments is from Andy Boy. He says, I can't look forward to the season until we know who the manager is. It's not over the line yet. Everybody says it's not over the line yet. It's just basically, Chile says, we get an announcement Friday. Give the supporters something to cheer about at the weekend. And then, obviously, if you haven't been to the community tab, you need to go to the community tab, because I put up a post the other night and it was quite funny. The quintessential British club, aren't they? Tax avoidance, proud of their tradition. That's obviously in reference to a Rangers pub getting put up for sale because it's been liquidated. There's a few other good comments on that. If you haven't been in the community tab for that, Andy Boy then goes on again to say, he says, I hope all Celtic fans back Rodgers for when he left. It was a fault of Lawwell's. Yep, Lawwell basically took the 10 million. It was all about the money. Hail Barry, Sean says, I'm not wanting to become another Eddie Howe scenario. I'm a big fan of Rodgers or previous experience, but he is the best of our choices. Realistically, he is the best man for the job, if you ask me, that's out there at the moment. A lot of people are saying it isn't, but if you look at the experience that he has had, and I think that the money that we're now going to spend this summer, I think people are going to get quite a shock on how much we do spend this summer. Whoever we get, we've got to accept and move on. Yeah, it's Postecoglou, unfortunately, is in the past, and I just hope that all the fans from Australia and around the world that have started following Celtic because of him keep on following him, because it is going to be some journey this season. It's going to be a little bit more exciting than what I think we're expecting. I think the fact that we do go straight into the Champions League gives us a lot of things to think about. We don't have these early games that Celtic always have in the summer. You know, we're going to have a good pre-season. We've still got the Japan tour to look forward to, so the Celtic fans down in Japan will get to see their players if they're still at the club. I think that they still will be at that point, because it is the 18th of July. I can't see anyone being sold. I think if people are going to come in for the likes of Kyogo and everything, it will be to the tail end of the transfer market. So I think Celtic will be moving as soon as the new manager is announced. I think as soon as the transfer window is open, there will be some kind of movement. Stephen Kelly laughs, get Guidetti back, get Dumbelli back to smash them. I think it's not about bringing players back. I think we'll be bringing in new players that have a bit of chance to take us to that next level. All the talk coming out of Celtic from Celtic bloggers and whoever all seems to be about the fact that the board really want to get this season off to a good flyer, and they want to make an impact. Probably finishing, I've always said it, it's not about getting to the knockout stages of the Champions League. For me personally, you have to be a bit more realistic about what we can do as a club, and we always look back to 2003 when we dropped out the Champions League and got to the Europa Cup final. I think that's probably our standard at the moment, and it's a standard for a lot of clubs, and it's not something to be ashamed of. So on that note, the big announcement we hope will be this afternoon. As soon as the announcement is made, I'll try and jump on and do a video. I'm heading out this afternoon, but I have told the missus that if the news breaks, there's only one thing for it: get back to do a video and get it out there to use amazing people that have subscribed to the channel. So on that note, have a great morning, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the